Wait. It's midnight, dude. Let's go watch the movie. Let's go watch the movie, dude.
Let's go watch it and then talk about it in February.
We'll finish this in February.
We'll talk about it in February. Let's go watch it. Force Awakens!
Welcome to the glorious return of MSV Movie Mania. I'm your host, Alex.
I'm your host, Ricky.
Ricky, last semester, we left off with an incredibly long and opinionated review of what was at the time the entire Star Wars saga.
Yes, I almost fell asleep.
So now we're back to finish the job. It's time to review the newest addition to the Star Wars saga, Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. Now, before we get into it, there is a major spoiler alert in effect as of now. If you haven't seen Star Wars, leave the video now.
Oh, sorry. All right, let's talk about first things first. Talk about the plot. In this new film, which takes place 32 years after Episode VI, a desert wanderer named Rey, a stormtrooper deserter named Finn, and an X-Wing pilot named Poe must band together to stop the evil Kylo Ren and his army of stormtroopers. First things first, Alex, let's talk about our expectations leading up to the film.
All right. So I was so pumped for this. I could not wait in line. I had to get in the theater right away. I did end up waiting in line, though, so that's a downside. But
you saw opening night, right? No,
yeah, I saw it
night before opening night.
Yeah, early screening. But
Okay.
Beforehand, like when I was getting ready the week before, I was watching the entire Star Wars saga. I started the way they came out, so 4, 5, 6, and then I left off with 1, 2, and 3. So when I got to the theater, I was expecting maybe a much broader, action-oriented story, and thank God I was wrong. I'm so happy with what I got.
I just remember the hours leading up to me going to the theater, my heart was just pounding, you know? It's been 10 years since new Star Wars. Actually, funny story, when we got to the theater, I had, it was in 3D, which we paid for 2D, and the screen was really off. Like, Poe Dameron's head was cut off. So I thought, I don't care, wait 10 years for this. Then the screen goes black. Guy comes in, we had technical difficulty, back in 20 minutes. Like, they started to film over again. Some guy in the back yelled, like, did he just say free popcorn? But, no, and once the film came out, well, what do you think of it?
I was absolutely blown away. I thought it was fantastic. Just how the prequel should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was definitely much more, well, obviously it had the feel of the original trilogy because it's based around the original trilogy, but it went back to the old way of storytelling they had in the later 20th century.
All right, yeah.
Smaller, more compressed story before we got all these superhero pieces of garbage.
Excuse me.
We're not even going to get into it, Ricky.
Yeah, that's a pretty big claim for me not getting. All right, we'll talk about this later.
Touch on it next time.
I'll bury this deep down inside.
So, how do you feel about the film after you saw it?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great movie. The characters were phenomenal, and it was fun. It brought the fun back to Star Wars, which is something we haven't got since the original trilogy.
Absolutely.
Like, I think it was when Rey and Finn are flying the Falcon, I realized I'm having fun for the first time watching Star Wars since Episode 6, and I loved it. It was true Star Wars to every detail. Alex, what do you think of the opening scene in the film?
I thought it was great. It drops you right into the action. There's no. They explain everything, but it's not like here's our exposition for the film.
Yeah. I got nostalgia hearing them talk about Jedi in new dialogue. The scene introduces us to Poe Dameron, of our new trio of heroes. He's not in that much of the film, but when he is in the film, he leaves a he makes his presence known. He's Oscar Isaac is really good. He gives a scene-stealing performance.
He will definitely have a bigger role in the
in
next two.
Yeah. No, I really liked the opening scene too. It was good. Then we meet Rey, who we see her scavenging the Star Destroyer, and let me just say, I absolutely love Rey. She is a phenomenal. I would call Rey the best film character in modern cinema. She she's like a tomboyishness to her, but she also has an innocence, and what drives her character is a strong sense of hope. Hope.
I really liked the transition from the actually relatively action-oriented intro right into the very, not boring, but slow-paced beginnings of Rey as a character.
Yeah. But, this is a trilogy opener. You got to introduce the characters now, but I loved Rey from like the very beginning. She's a character I'm very excited to see again.
I liked, the 5-10 minutes of bonding she had with BB-8 before we switched over to any other characters.
Good. BB-8 was cool too. He's like Wally. You remember like the Disney character? And
BB-8 is a Disney character now.
Oh, true.
Remember that.
No, I like BB-8. After that, we get the scene of Poe, and we meet Finn. He's a stormtrooper deserter, and he rescues Poe, and you get a nice scene with them flying out, escaping.
Like immediate great chemistry between
They had great
both
chemistry.
actors.
It was you get you feel a genuine brotherly bond between them already, and Oscar Isaac and John Boyega, they have great chemistry, but that goes for all the cast.
Oh yeah.
Daisy Ridley and John Boyega had great chemistry. Harrison Ford, great chemistry, everyone. Harrison Ford was great in the film.
Oh, absolutely.
And
we'll dig into him later.
Yeah. But Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, they were fantastic as Finn and Rey.
So speaking of Boyega and Daisy Ridley, right after the scene with Finn and Poe, we move into Finn meeting Rey.
Right.
Which was great. They just continued that great chemistry throughout the entire cast.
They have that really good chemistry. There's a lot of humorous parts in between them, but
actually, I'm amazed at the chemistry they had with the new cast and the old cast.
Yeah.
They had this. It's like they weren't actors. They weren't in a movie. It was straight up. This is just the new generation of rebel fighters.
Right.
Absolutely great.
So then they escape on the Falcon, and
which had a nice little introduction as
I like that.
The piece of junk it always was.
I like that. And then then of course they meet up right with Han and Chewie.
That was.
But I like that.
It was a little overly convenient for the story, but I don't care. I mean, it's Star Wars.
It was a very good entrance for them. Yeah. I liked, as I said, Harrison Ford was great. So much humorous Han and Chewie dialogue.
That scene was just up to the brim with humor, and it wasn't even it should have been funny because it was, but a lot of it was just that Harrison Ford has just become this. Literally, Harrison Ford has become this grumpy old man, and that is exactly what Han Solo has turned into.
Yeah. It makes sense he's changed in the last 2 years. I really like the standoff scene with I guess the other smugglers.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like nothing's changed. It's still like, where's my money, Solo? And actually gave me a little bit of nostalgia.
Chewie's just been dealing with Han Solo for so long at this point. He'll talk back to him in the middle of a standoff, and they'll get into a tiny little argument.
Like Chewie
guns pointed everywhere.
Like Chewie would growl. Han says, "Yes, I am. Don't you say that."
Turn around. Don't mess with me right now.
I love it. I loved all Han Chewie scenes.
So after we meet Han and Chewie, and Finn and Rey get some screen time with them, they begin to talk about the Force and the Jedi, how they're not this big mystical order that people made up. They were real. They're part of history, and everything that Finn and Rey have heard as just these myths, these legends, all happened.
Yeah, because it's been 50 years since the Jedi Order fell, and Luke tried to rebuild it, but that didn't work out.
It's literally like 2 generations that already don't know about it, or have never experienced it. Even Luke was just a myth.
Exactly. Yeah, she says I thought Luke Skywalker was just a myth. So they do a great job of that. Then they go to the Tavern of Maz
Kanata.
That's the one. And
Creepy old alien lady who
Yeah.
is absolutely in love with Chewbacca.
she refers to her boyfriend once. But,
Yeah.
I think that was more of a joke than anything else. But then Finn has a moment of weakness. He runs away because he's scared of the First Order.
Yeah, he finds out how big and powerful they are and how evil they are.
Yeah.
And he's been with them his whole life, so
Oh yeah, exactly.
he's always up to that propaganda of the First Order is necessary, this is what we do. And then he sees it from the other side.
Yeah, like you got the opening scene. They're gunning down villagers. He's got his friend dies in his arms, wipes the blood on his.
And now he's a wanted deserter, so he thinks, I got to get the heck out of here.
Exactly. So he runs away, and Rey, she gets a calling down to the where she finds Luke and Anakin's lightsaber. And you got nice cameos in that scene from Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, and a posthumous cameo from Alec Guinness's Obi-Wan.
They pulled one of his lines out of the original
They took
trilogy, right?
him saying "afraid" and turned it into him saying "Rey," and you hear
And it sounded perfect.
yeah, and then you hear prequel Obi-Wan say, "These are your first steps." Yep. He actually said that, but
I think that scene was done absolutely fantastically.
Very
Like
nice.
it showed you so much, like not so much, but a lot of what has happened in the 30 years.
yeah,
But they don't really give away the big details.
Yeah. There's still a lot of mysteries left.
In fact, you just see a bunch of random shots, and then some of them are explained later in the film.
There's
There's still
that
a lot we don't know.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I mean, I want to know more, but
Oh, absolutely.
and it shows restraint that we don't see much. And at this point in the film, you start noticing that the trailers feel the trailers set up so they always show Finn with a lightsaber, he's gonna be a Jedi, and they show Rey just with the staff. And now at this point in the film, you start realizing that Finn hasn't had any connection with the Force yet, and Rey is starting to get connection with the Force. So they turn it.
Yeah.
So it's very nice.
After Finn has his second thoughts, and Rey has her, revelation about the past. The First Order shows up,
Right.
and they just absolutely decimate the place.
Yeah.
And
That was a fun
when we
scene.
see more of the younger side of the old Han Solo, he picks up Chewie's bowcaster and just has the time of his life with it, blowing stormtroopers away.
I love that scene. You get
Yeah.
to see Finn fight with a lightsaber. And
Yeah,
you
he
got
goes toe to toe with a stormtrooper.
Yeah, and you got that great scene with Rey and Kylo Ren in the forest. And
That's probably one of my favorite shots. Just Kylo Ren walking through the forest.
no, I love when he freezes her. She's gonna get her gun, but he holds her arm back, and so then Kylo Ren captures Rey and interrogates her, and he's trying to get in her mind like he did with Poe in the beginning of the film, and that really hurt him. And so, but Rey is, and this is starting to build up. Maybe she's a Jedi because you got now. He's trying to get her mind. She's fighting back. And you got this great scene of them going back and forth, and eventually he says some sort of taunt like, "You're just a weak little girl," or something like that. And then she's like, "Well, you're just afraid that you can't live up to Darth Vader." And then him and the audience is, "Whoa!" Like he pulls back. Like, what? Like. That's when you go.
You start to see him crack a little bit.
In that moment, both Rey and the audience figure out that she has the Force.
Yeah.
Now, Kylo Ren, he's a very interesting character. He starts off as dark and brooding, Darth Vader.
Emo little punk kid in the end.
Yeah, because he starts off really dark and brooding. Then you get this scene. The guy tells him, we lost the girl and the droid. And you think he's going to just kill the guy like Vader used to do, but no. He takes out his lightsaber and starts wailing on the whole control room. I love that. It's like, what?
So after the whole interrogation scene and then Kylo Ren's little freak out, we actually get to see the Resistance, and that's where we get a lot of cameos from a lot of the more important figures from the original trilogy. We got, which is now Princess Leia, who is now General Organa. We have an old Admiral Akbar, which is so cool.
I like that.
Yeah. A few other guys. Unfortunately, we don't see Wedge Antilles. The only other pilot to make it through the whole.
The guy who played him said he'll be bored coming back. And then you got Billy D. Williams, who wanted to come back as Lando, but they didn't call him. So
This is true. They didn't call on him.
all right, so yeah, you got the Resistance base, good scenes there. then back earlier in the film, I forgot to mention, you find out that Kylo Ren is the son of Han and Leia. And everyone was saying this is so obvious, and I'm here like, yeah, obvious, yeah. I didn't gasp in the theater.
I'll be honest, I wasn't too surprised. I kind of expected something like that.
I don't know what I was expecting. For some reason, it just surprised me.
I knew he'd be connected in some way.
Yeah. And so then you got... So after the Resistance part, Rey's still chained up, and her a stormtrooper's guarding her, and so she looks at the guy, and she says, tries to do Jedi magic. You will loosen these restraints and leave your gun by a door. And then she says a lot of times, I think you can feel like like in her voice, she's like starting to give up. And then she closes her eyes, music stops, opens it, says, you will loosen these restraints and let me go. And he does it. And I love that moment.
So after that, we move into, she escapes. She's running through Starkiller Base, which is the main place they have to blow up in this one.
Yeah. Han, Finn, and Chewie get there. Twice in the film, Han cheats like hyperspace. But he takes off in the hangar. I love that. And then in this scene, to get past their shields, he gets out of hyperspace right in the mountains. I love that.
And then, we get a nice little bit of humor about, Finn having no idea how the Force works. And
I love Chewie growls, and Han's like, oh, you're cold? Really?
Yeah, it's a nice big ice planet. So then we get into the base, and their job is to get to the central area, place a bunch of bombs, blow it up or weaken it so that the Resistance can come in, do a few airstrikes, and call it a day.
They say also they to rescue Rey.
Along the way they end up
I like that.
Her.
They said, where do you think they're holding her? And they look around. They see her climbing.
Yeah.
And there's a nice tender moment between Rey and Finn. They, I guess, kind of make up because last time they saw each other, he was running away.
He was trying to leave.
Yeah. So then they, nice little hug between them, and.
So then they all run into each other. They get back to business, find the main area, blow it up. That's where things start to just fall apart. They're getting the job done, and then Kylo Ren shows up.
Well,
Ricky.
Han is hiding, then he reveals himself. And then you got that epic moment. He goes on the bridge with Kylo Ren, and he yells, Ben. Now we know that's his name, Ben Solo.
Ben Solo. And this is the scene that, as much as I hate, we have to talk about it because it's probably one of the most important parts of Star Wars. We watch Han walk out onto the platform where Kylo Ren is, yells his son's name, Ben, turns around, there's a nice little stare down, he walks up nice and slow. He talks to him about, coming back home.
I'm getting a little choked up right now.
Yeah, talks to him about coming home. No one's going to judge him for what happened. And then, we see Kylo Ren start to crack, and then we realize we were being faked out because there's this nice tender moment between Han and Ben, Kylo Ren, about what Han Solo thinks is Kylo Ren trying to leave the First Order and go back to his old life, but then that one shot in the film where his lightsaber just goes
right through Han Solo's
chest. And the last thing we see Han Solo do,
he strokes his son's face one last time, and as he falls down to the abyss.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. Man, it's sad.
It is sad.
And then you see Leia.
Literally your childhood falling down the drain.
Yeah. Then you see Leia, Han's wife, Kylo Ren's mother. She has the Force. She senses what's going on. She collapses into a chair. What I love about the scene, first off, it was a great scene, actually. If you're going to kill off one of the greatest film characters ever, that's how you do it. It was a very satisfying death scene.
Just got down to the rawest parts of the character.
Yeah. Then the greatest, Chewie, he sees his best friend of 40 years fall down. He gives no cares. He takes out his bowcaster, shoots Kylo Ren right in the stomach.
The same bowcaster we saw kill 3-4 stormtroopers at a time.
Yeah,
Kylo Ren survives a shot to the chest.
Yeah, he shoots him in the chest, runs out of there, blows up detonators, blows up the whole place. I love that. It was amazing. I love that moment.
So then, you know, deed is done, place is blown up. Finn and Rey are running through the forest to escape Kylo Ren and the First Order. And they end up bumping into him in the forest. And that's when we get our nice big showdown.
You see Kylo Ren, because he's shot, he's bleeding out. So what he does, he's trying to get himself more angry. He's beating his chest. Love that. And you never see creativity like that in a blockbuster film. So Finn takes him on. Then you got the best moment of the film, my favorite moment. And the Skywalker lightsaber is in the snow. Finn's unconscious, maybe a coma. Kylo Ren is trying to grab it with the Force. He's trying, it won't budge. He's trying, and it finally comes out, goes right past him into Rey's hand. She lights the lightsaber, and I love that. Oh my God. I'm sorry, I'm pretty pumped right now.
No, you're good. Keep going if you want.
And then we got this great fight, and it's what Star Wars should be. Two characters with a lot going on.
Who we actually care about.
Yeah, we care about these characters. It's not like, we got Darth Maul, who we don't know at all. Two Jedi we don't care about. So, yeah, it's this great fight scene. And then in the end, she injures him badly.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. You know, this guy, Kylo Ren, seems... I mean, he's definitely a lot tougher than a lot of people thought throughout the film. I mean, Kylo Ren survives a bowcaster to the chest. He's bleeding during this lightsaber fight, pumping himself up.
Yeah,
and then,
literally.
And then he survives a lightsaber to the face.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be pissed.
Which I think is the one thing we haven't seen in a Star Wars film yet: someone getting their face hurt.
He's gonna be pissed in the next one.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a much more.
He's gonna be out for revenge.
He's gonna be very vengeful, very angry, definitely a lot tougher. I think he's gonna be a much better bad guy in 8 and 9. Right, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll give you, our ratings, our favorite parts of the movie, and we will see you in just a few moments.
Welcome back to the Force Awakens episode of MSV Movie Mania. Now, let's talk about our favorite scenes. I already discussed my favorite scene, Rey pulling the lightsaber out of the snow, so it's time to go into something else. I think I might know where Rey came from.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, my theory is, it's not so much a theory, more of a guess. I definitely think she's Luke's daughter. Well, throughout the film, you get little hints like, the Skywalker family lightsaber calls to her. The first time when you see her little hut or whatever, you see a X-wing pilot, like looks like Luke, a doll, and not a doll, but a figure, and you see a X-wing fighter helmet, like the one Luke used to wear, and she kind of, wears it in her free time. And that's maybe a little hints, but if you think about, because, Luke, he was trying to get to school for Jedi up, and then Kylo Ren killed everyone. So I think what happened is, I may very well be wrong, but I think what happened is Luke, if Kylo Ren found him in exile, he didn't want him to kill Rey, so I think he left Rey on Jakku, taking his cues from Obi-Wan, and because notice how there's a group of people not that far from her who just happen to know where Luke is. You got the whole, and who know to shoot at the Empire as soon as they land down. So I think, because that's not a coincidence that someone who has the Force is just a few miles away. So you got, so yeah, I think that's what happened. I think he left Rey there to protect her. And so that's my theory, really, that she's Luke's daughter. That's why she has the Force. Maybe that's why Leia hugs her at the end without meeting her. Maybe she knows that's her niece. And more importantly, I think the last scene when Rey meets Luke Skywalker, I think that wasn't just a Jedi finding a master. I think that was a reunion. The point of the scene was a reunion between father and daughter. Alex, I mentioned my favorite scene is Rey pulling lightsaber out of snow. What's your favorite scene?
I would definitely have to go with that standoff in the middle of Starkiller base between Han and Ben. It was so raw, and it gives us such great backstory without making it so obvious that, here's the exposition for what happened. It was a genuine conversation between father and son about mistakes and forgiveness. I absolutely loved it. Favorite scenes, theories out of the way. Ricky, I feel like I know what you're going to give this movie rating-wise. Oh, there we go.
Yay!
I'm going to agree with him. 10 out of 10. One of this is probably, in my opinion, the second best Star Wars film. Empire Strikes Back being the first.
It's way up there, way up there.
Absolutely fantastic.
I loved it.
Pretty much completely forgives the prequels.
Yeah.
You know, we can forget about them now. They're not important.
Thank God.
Yeah, finally. Yeah, I mean, fantastic characters, fantastic story.
I want to see his
new
characters.
Settings.
Yeah, that's why I want to see his characters again. Finn, Rey, and Poe. I want to see him again. That's the best part.
Made C-3PO interesting again. R2-D2 for the little bit of time that we saw him. Yeah. So, 10 out of 10?
Oh, yeah.
10 out of 10. I mean, if you haven't seen it at this point, you, one, shouldn't be watching this video, and two, gotta go see it. I mean, come on, guys. So, let's move over to a quick commercial break. We'll be back. We'll talk more about cinema in 2015 as a whole. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to MSV Movie Mania. Now that we got Star Wars out of the way, Ricky, we're going to dive into some of the best parts of film in 2015.
2015 was a year of great films.
It was. Definitely.
What was your favorite film of the year, Alex?
My favorite film would have to be, and I know it got a wide release in 2016,
Right.
but it premiered in 2015.
Right.
I saw it in 2015, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Hands down, The Revenant with Leo DiCaprio.
Not Star Wars?
No, I mean,
All right.
as close as it was, I had to go with The Revenant just because of how brutally honest it was to the real story.
Now, I believe we'll be doing The Revenant on our show next week.
We will. We'll be discussing The Revenant next week. I guess we'll talk about Leo's chance at an Oscar, which I'm not too convinced he's going to get. So, mine out of the way, Ricky, what was your favorite film of 2015?
Honestly, I'm tired of raving about blockbusters, so my number one film of the year is The Revenant.
One of your favorite films of the year is not a CGI-filled, action-oriented, Marvel Cinematic Universe piece of garbage. I am absolutely amazed.
Yeah.
Props to you, Ricky. Props to you.
Thank you.
Favorite movies, great films,
All right.
but some of the lesser-known movies or less enjoyed movies have absolutely fantastic scenes in them. So let's talk about that.
All right.
Ricky, what was yours? Favorite scene?
My favorite
2015?
scene of 2015 is from the movie Mad Max 4: Fury Road. All right, so the scene I love is Furiosa goes to make a deal. You know, still a lot of tension in the group. He's all in the truck. Deal goes bad, like with these bikers, and deal goes bad with the bikers. So now they're about to attack. They're a bad guy army. They're going to attack. They're in a canyon. One of the girls starts going into labor because she's been impregnated by the warlords. So at that moment, Max and Furiosa, they both decide, you know what? None of this matters. All that matters is we need to get these girls out of here. So they get in the truck. They get out through the canyon. You got amazing action scene, a biker. You got great music, which Max and Furiosa are blasting them away, and you got it's really like it's great scene. It's like a mother and father trying to protect their kids. Between that and the epic, amazing action, it's one of my favorite scene of the year. One of my favorite movie scenes ever.
Yeah?
Yeah. What's your
Impressive.
favorite movie scene out of 2015, Alex?
Well, it is in Star Wars. It is when the First Order comes down on Maz Kanata's bar, or hotel, tavern, whatever it is. And as I said, they just decimate the place. And you have all three important characters, Han, Rey, and Finn, all in this incredibly dangerous situation. And they're all separated. You know, you got Han and Chewie giving some comedy to the scene, but just being surrounded and taking out as many stormtroopers as they can. Finn is going toe-to-toe with an elite stormtrooper, which was so cool because it's almost as brutal as the ending. And then you have you have Rey and Kylo Ren in the forest playing a little cat and mouse game. Rey gets caught. So she gets caught, and then they leave. Resistance comes in, fixes everything up. I think it was such a great scene. It was very evenly tense throughout the whole thing.
Right.
You know, everyone had their moment.
Yeah, that was great. We did a sort of look back in 2015. Now let's look ahead in 2016. Alex, what's the film you're looking forward to most this year?
Suicide Squad.
I'm dying to see that.
Both trailers looked absolutely amazing.
I know,
I got
right?
so pumped with the second trailer where they had Bohemian Rhapsody playing in the background.
Yeah.
And every time, even just in the trailers, you see Jared Leto's Joker on screen, I get chills every time.
They're advertising it like the Guardians of the Galaxy of the DC Cinematic Universe, but but in no way do I have a problem with that.
It's like the dark version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. But I have no problem with that. Jared Leto looks amazing. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
The way Leto prepared for the role as the Joker is even more insane than what Heath Ledger, rest in peace, did when he was getting ready for the role. I mean, Leto did not break character the entire time they filmed the movie.
People do that.
Will Smith, when he had an interview about it, he said, "Oh yeah, I've never actually met Jared Leto." It would always be this psychotic green-haired dude on set. He even sent a dead rat
to the cast members.
To the cast members. So cool. What about you?
The film I look forward to most comes out a week before Suicide Squad, Jason Bourne. Now, this is the fifth Bourne film, probably last. The second and third Bourne movies, directed by Paul Greengrass, they are in my opinion, the best straight-up action movies of all time. And now, 9 years later, Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon are returning, and mark my words, Jason Bourne is going to be the action movie of the decade. For now, let's just say Jason Bourne, July 29th, Suicide Squad comes out a week later, August 5th. I can't wait for...
All right. So, Suicide Squad and Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
Ricky, I think that might be all the time we have for today, so why don't you take us out?
Thanks for the return of MSV Movie Mania. Join us again next week when we sink our teeth into The Revenant, which both me and Alex listen to as our favorite films of the year.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Ricky.
And I'm Alex.
We're going to leave you with this recently released teaser commercial from Jason Bourne. See you soon on MSV Movie Mania.
My God, that's Jason Bourne.
Why would he come back now?
I know who I am. I remember everything.
Remembering everything doesn't mean you know everything.
The world is at war. We need the perfect weapon.
What happened next? Well, go on.
I mean, why did he have to walk out onto that platform? I mean, he could have just stood there and talked, but no, he had to go up. And then Ben he killed him, man.
Do you think that Han wanted to be with his son? That's why he went on the ledge?
He didn't want to die for it. I don't understand why he did it, Doc. I don't get it.
Alex, Han made his choice, and he knew the consequences, but he made it anyway.
I guess you're right.
Han... We're done. I was going to lose it when you called me back.
You can cut it.